It just feels weird. The championship series is underway in the Women's College World Series, and Oklahoma isn't playing in it. It feels weird. The season is still going, and Oklahoma's no longer playing a softball season. But it doesn't change my opinion or my stance that this season was a success for Oklahoma softball. When you consider that they lost the greatest senior class in college softball history, rebuilt the roster with newcomers and true freshmen, moved to a new conference, the toughest conference, and still accomplished everything they did, come on, it's a success. SEC regular season champs, deep run in the Women's College World Series. It was a very good year. It was a successful year, and I think it sets them up really well for a championship run in 2026. And don't make the mistake of saying the dynasty is over. No, the pursuit of a five-peat is over, yes. But the dynasty being over, not a chance. OU will be back in 2026, and I think that they're going to be back in a big way. I truly believe that. Now, some questions need to be answered, sure, but let's give this season the celebration that I think it deserves by breaking down the 5 best moments of the season and giving out some postseason accolades. I'll also talk about the biggest needs in the transfer portal and might as well take an early look at the 2026 team. As always, drop your comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Tell a friend about what we're doing, what we're building over here, talking about OU softball. Let's start with my 5 favorite moments from the 2025 season in order from 5 to number 1. Of course, number 1 will be my favorite moment of the year. Let me know what your favorite moment was in the comments this season. All right, at number 5, just the sweep over Texas. I could put in a specific moment, a specific hit, a specific play, whether it was Ilana Agbayani's grand slam in Game 1, KD's start in Game 2 that was excellent, Emmerling's sac fly in Game 3 to get the winning run. But to me, it was just like the overall weekend has to be on there. Now, as much as I love that sweep, and I did love the sweep, I'm still convinced the stress of building big leads in Game 1 and Game 3 and nearly losing both of those definitely took years off of my life, but it was such a key moment of the season. There was doubt if OU was even going to win the series at home against Texas. They swept instead, and it put OU in a position to win the SEC regular season crown the very next weekend. And I think it was OU's best series win of the entire year. The entire just weekend of sweeping the Longhorns. You guys can come up with a specific moment, but just the entire weekend to me comes in at number 5. At number 4, the Game 1 win over Florida in the regular season series finale. OU won 6-5 in 9 innings, and it was an absolute classic. The moment that stands out to me, and there were a lot of big moments throughout that game, but Abby Dayton's RBI single to take the lead in the 9th. But really, it just kind of that whole 24 hours of beating Florida and then finding out the next day before Game 2 that OU had officially clinched the SEC. That was really cool to essentially clinch the conference after an incredible win like that in extra innings. Winning the SEC in year 1 was a very big deal with such a new team. It's something worth celebrating. It was really cool doing it after a big win at Florida in Game 1 of the series. I have that entire 24 hours as the number 4 moment of the 2025 season. At number 3, I have the big moment for OU in the final game of the season. Abby Dayton's 2-run home run to tie it up with 2 outs in an 0-2 counts. Down to their last strike. Just an incredibly cool moment. I really don't want this to go unnoticed. I don't think that it will. Yes, they lost. Yes, it ended the season. Yes, that really stunk. But it's a moment that I think, and again, hope that it'll be talked about in the future. I mean, really, if you just take a step back, we've had a couple of days to do so now, to just take a step back and think about it. Down 0-2, 2 outs in the 7th, down to your last strike. Haven't done much of anything offensively throughout the entire game. And your 9-hole, Abby Dayton, sends an 0-2 pitch against an incredible pitcher like Nyjah Kennedy. Incredible moment. Needs to be celebrated, will be celebrated. I lost my ever-loving mind during that moment. I'm sure you did as well. Has to be on my list. It comes in at number 3. At number 2, let's go to the SEC tournament. Sooners are down, and boy, it's not looking good at all. down 6-1 into Arkansas in the bottom of the third inning. Winner goes to the SEC Tournament Championship game. Then Ella Parker hits a solo home run. Then Sid Barker hits a solo home run. Then Isabella Emerling hits a solo home run. Then Ilana Agbayani hits a solo home run to bring it within 1 run in the bottom of the 6th inning. Then you get to the bottom of the 7th, still down by 1 run. The Sooners have runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, down 1 run. The true freshman sensation, Gabbie Garcia, steps to the plate. Just a sac fly is what I'm saying at the time. I'll take a single. I'll take a game-winning single, but a sac fly will do with all the momentum that you have. Gabbie Garcia instead says, I'm going to do you guys one better. She hammers the first pitch she sees to walk it off. Absolutely incredible. The biggest comeback in SEC tournament history. And the part that still gets me in the feels a little bit is Gabbie Garcia crying, tearing up while being mobbed by her teammates. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff right there. You're going to see that replay for years and years and years to come during SEC Tournament Week. It's going to put a smile on my face. It's going to put a smile on your face. I loved it. And it was going to take an absolutely incredible, insane moment for this not to be number 1. But it comes in at number 2. Because at number 1, bottom of the 7th inning in the Women's College World Series, down to Tennessee and Carlin Pickens, who had been straight up dominant up to that point. Just incredible. Ilana Agbayani walks. Kasidi Pickering with a 2-out base hit. It set it all up for Ella Parker, who hit a home run, towering home run to right field earlier in the game. And on an 0-1 pitch, just an absolute no-doubter from Ella Parker. Just so clutch. And yes, you expect these things with OU softball, but that one stands above the rest for me because of the stage, because of who you were facing in the circle, and because it ended the game. Ella Parker's biggest moment in an OU uniform so far is this home run, and it was another Women's College World Series moment that I think that we're going to be talking about for a very, very long time. And as a very important added bonus, it came against Tennessee, who I've grown to not be a huge fan of, so bonus points there. But Ella Parker's walk-off over Carlin Pickens against Tennessee, my number 1 moment of the entire 2025 season. Let's give out some postseason awards. Let's start with Offensive MVP. My 3 finalists, Ella Parker, Kasidi Pickering, Gabbie Garcia. Ella Parker led the team with a .423 average. Gabbie led the team with 20 home runs. And Pickering led in several categories such as OPS, slugging percentage, and walks. Gabbie was so good for a true freshman at the plate. Like, her home run numbers are my biggest surprise stat of the entire season in terms of what I would have expected before the year. Ella Parker was fantastic in Oklahoma City, but Kasidi Pickering was the most consistent throughout the entire season. Kasidi Pickering is my offensive MVP. When Parker was dealing with her injury, it felt like Pick was just consistently always there. She even moved into the leadoff spot in the middle of SEC play, which worked out great, I think, for her and for the entire team. She really, really helped carry the offense this year. Give me Kasidi Pickering for offensive MVP. Defensive MVP, my 3 finalists are all infielders. Nelly was very, very solid at third base, very good at third base, made a ton of big plays throughout the year and into the postseason. Gabbie Garcia and Ilana Agbayani formed, in my opinion, the best defensive middle infielder duo in the entire country. Both are finalists for me. This one was tough. This is actually the most difficult one because I could have picked any of the 3. But I'm going to go with Gabbie Garcia as my defensive MVP. Just so smooth, so dependable. In no way did it feel like she was a freshman this year. In any way. Shortstop is a really difficult position, especially when it comes to consistency. But that's what you got from Gabbie Garcia all year long. She was consistent while also making the high-level plays. I think she's your next great shortstop at Oklahoma. I do. Finished the season with just 4 errors on the year. Like I said, this one was very, very close. I could go with any of the 3. I could make a great case for each. All 3 of them were fantastic, outstanding. But with the difficulty of playing shortstop, the true freshman being there, all the plays that she made, give me Gabbie Garcia for this award. And I still think the best is yet to come when it comes to Gabbie Garcia. Pitching MVP. Come on, do we need to spend a lot of time on this one? I don't think that we do. It's Sam Landry. Started a large portion of the big games that you played, the mass majority of the big games you played. Won a ton of those games. It's Sam Landry, and there's really not a close second. Sam Landry, Pitcher of the Year, and I'm incredibly thankful that she picked OU and turned in the best season of her college softball career. She's awesome. I really hope that she gets her flowers from the fan base. She was just awesome this year, and she showed up with that championship mindset. She kind of exuded everything that an OU softball player is all about, just tough, always wanted the ball, never shied away from the moment. This is a clear runaway winner, the easiest of the bunch. But Sam Landry, you were awesome. Thank you for choosing Oklahoma. Thank you for representing the program the way that you did. And hey, having the season that you did as well in an OU uniform. Team MVP. I considered Kasidi Pickering. I considered Sam Landry. I considered Gabbie Garcia. I considered Ella Parker. There's a lot of players that I considered for this award. Most valuable. It's important. All were incredibly valuable. But if you take Sam Landry off this roster, you don't accomplish the things that you did. 25 wins on the year in the circle, close to half of the overall wins the team had this year. There was a reason why they leaned on her so much in the postseason and in Oklahoma City. Whatever this team was going to accomplish was going to be, frankly, on the back of Sam Landry. And as we questioned throughout the year who the number 2 pitcher is, if a number 2 pitcher was really going to emerge, Sam continued to be more and more valuable throughout the course of the season. They did win some big games without her. That is fair to say. That is fair to point out. But they don't win the SEC, and they probably don't even make it to Oklahoma City without Sam Landry's season in the circle. Ended up an all-SEC first-teamer. She's an All-American, very much deserved. Sam Landry, the most valuable player on the team. She's my OU team MVP for 2025. Transfer portal needs. The transfer portal is upon us. Upon recording on Thursday morning, Corey Hicks, Maya Bland have entered into the transfer portal. We'll see if any more names emerge throughout latter part of this week into the weekend. But what is OU looking for? What do they need via the transfer portal when they're going out looking for players? To me, number one's an obvious. I think they need an ace. Who that pitcher is going to be is my current biggest question mark for the 2026 season. No Sam Landry, so you need an ace. Could that be Audrey Lowry? Yeah, it could be. Could it be one of the true freshmen coming in? Sure. But I think it's most likely, your ace next year is most likely to come from a pitcher in the transfer portal. More than any other position, OU will be hunting for pitchers in the portal, and I think they'll land its 2026 ace in the coming weeks. Yes, Lowry could blossom into that star. Yes, you have true freshmen coming in with a ton of hype, but you need a veteran presence, just like Sam Landry was last year's team. There's no doubt there's talent coming back on the roster in the circle. There's talent coming in, but you need that veteran presence. And ace, I think, is the number one priority for OU hunting in the transfer portal. The second biggest position that OU will be hunting, pitcher once again. Another big question I have for 2026 will be if this team will have more of a staff approach. You cannot rely, at least I don't think, on one arm as much as you had to this year. So finding another quality arm to round out your staff is something that I think OU could pursue. That could be dependent on if they lose any current pitchers to the portal, but the position I'm most confident OU will pursue is pitcher, and I can't say I'd be totally shocked if they took at least 2 pitchers in the portal this offseason. At number 3, this one is actually hard to say, and I think it could be very dependent on if any more current position players were to leave via the transfer portal. I think third, short, and second are locked up for next year. I think Barker is got a great chance to be your first baseman. Catcher is wide open, but I think Kendall Wells is the future of that spot and will play as a true freshman. Outfield seems to be in a nice spot with Pickering, Dayton, Malloy coming back, Kai Minor coming in. Maybe they take another outfielder. Maybe they take another catcher. Maybe they take a look at first base, but it's really hard to say right now which position outside of pitcher is going to be most likely. I don't think that this is going to be a huge transfer portal class for Oklahoma. Spots are probably limited right now. So will they take a position player? Potentially, but maybe that could depend on if OU has any more players on the current roster that enter into the transfer portal. But without a doubt in my mind, hunting pitchers is the number one priority for OU in the portal. All right, let's end it with this. A way too early look at the 2026 OU softball team. Already excited about next year. So much talent is coming back. And I truly think, and this is what I'm most excited about right here with this team, I truly think this team will be coming back with a vengeance. I love that. I think if they can find an ace, which I think they will, and find more complementary pieces around that pitcher, which I think that they will, I think they're the favorite. This offense is going to be stacked. There's some really good players that won't be everyday starters in this order. I think that's how much depth they have throughout the order. But it's a team that's also going to be incredibly hungry after not winning the national title this year. I can't wait. Offensively, I think they're going to be legit. Defensively, I think they're going to be legit. Pitching will be key, and being better and more consistent at catcher, I think will be key as well. But I won't be shocked at all if this team starts as the preseason number one team in the land. In fact, I would expect OU to start off as the preseason number one team next year. We'll see what happens in the transfer portal for OU and the rest of the teams. And I'm going to leave you with this. And I love this so much. I'm going to leave you with an Instagram post by Nellie McEnroe Moranis. Read it. Let it fire you up. And as always, thank you for watching.